Good morning. Let us make sure operations are working properly. Yep. Okay. Let me double check that. All I heard was me whistling. And a loud clicky from my mouse. Checking. Checking. Okay, we're good. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name's Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, similar places. Try to make a few extra bucks online. Really good week this week. Selling stuff. Not all of it on eBay. We'll discuss that in a second. Thought I was going to have a slowish weekend. Didn't. Had one huge sale come through that makes us all happy, and we'll talk about that as well. Handful of finds over the past week that I think I'll show you. Nothing to get over, most bread and butter stuff. Nothing to get super excited about, but we'll talk about a few things here any dang way. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so let's do it. Let's jump into the sales this is just bread and butter sales that were a little slow, but stuff sold. Starting out, this was from a pretty good buy. This is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology art book. This is from a 3DS Nintendo game. I bought a stack of game manuals and some of these small book inserts that went into some games that are out of print. And there was one that was, I think, a $50 sale. The rest were bread and butter stuff, 10 to 15 bucks, but all these went into video games. So your fantasy RPG video game books, particularly for ones that are out of print for older systems, the books can still sell pretty decently. I've had several sale between 10 and 15 bucks a piece again, but there was one that there was a rare game that popped up, and that was a pretty good sale for a small book like this. So this one went for 13. This is Radiant Historia. Like I said, it's $13 book, consistent seller on eBay. All these sold pretty quickly. This was I don't think I bought them 6 months ago, and so that's kind of a quick sale for some stuff like this. Some of them sold like that within a week. So that was a pretty good sale there. All right, next up, I think this author kind of has gotten some sours. His stuff doesn't move greatly on eBay anymore. I think Stephen King. This is The Stand. This is like, I think, 90s, 80s, 90s edition of this book. The stuff he has that sold, that they made movies out of through the 80s and 90s, still sells okay, and a handful of his stuff still does okay, but I think I used to sell things a little more consistently from him. So that is Stephen King, The Stand. This went for 14 bucks. I don't know that there's a lot of his stuff other than outside of his first edition, first prints, which are limited runs. Good luck finding them that go for a bunch of money. But like there's almost like two first edition of a lot of Stephen King books. There's like the ones he sold locally up where he lives as like a $2,500, $3,500 print runs of those editions. Those are like the true first. And then the big mass hardcover production first editions that sell, that he sold, and those go for a lot less because there's a lot more of them. There's a few of his that still, like the Bachman book stuff, still sells okay. And a few other things, but I don't grab them as much as I used to. Dark Tower sells in lot if you've got more than one. I just sold a lot of 4 novels for 10, $12. Like, I was happy to get rid of them. Almost was in the point of donating. So there you go. Next is my son had went through a bunch of his Pokemon cards and found this Surfing Pikachu. And this is a $14 card. And this is in fair condition. I would say there's some there's some roughness to it. If this was this is like a $30 card if it's in mint condition. But he found this amongst his stuff, asked me to see if I could sell it for him, and went for $14. So we did that, and he'll get most of that money. But keep an eye on your Pokemon cards. Let your kids. It's a great way for kids to learn reselling a little bit if you can get a stack of them and they're into them. He actually went through a bunch with TCG Player and scanned a bunch of them and said, "Oh, these may be worth something, Dad. Can we look them up and sell them?" He's like, "Yeah." So we'll go with that. So he comes out ahead on that. Next up, this is a fun find. These are Mezco 1 heads for, well, I didn't zoom right. Anyway, these are, whoa. Okay, anyway, heads for 6-inch action figures. And this one is Freddy Krueger. And it's not sort of your high-end 6-inch figure stuff for customizers, and they actually sold this as a Freddy Krueger, but it's like you can interchange the heads and all that sort of stuff. So, and that little bag of 5 parts went for $30. I've had one for Popeye go for 50, I think. And I got another couple out there that I'm kind of slowly drawing them down, but they'll bring minimum between $30 and $50, if not more. So this was a neat find. I almost passed it up. Like, yeah, that's 6-inch figure stuff. Let me grab that. I thought it was something else, and then I started looking them up and realized I found like one of the higher end manufacturers of those types of figures. So, all right. Finally, for the reason you all probably came, I got these from a church. My church was getting rid of them, so they said, "Look, you can have them, sell them. We were just going to donate them or dump them or something." I just sold 28 hymnals, 28 hymnals, a box full to one guy. And this is kind of what I thought was going to happen. I had piecemealed a couple, 3 out here and there. Over the last month, and then one guy just bought all of them. So the hymnal for worship and celebration. This is a consistent seller. These went for I think these went for about 15 a piece to this one church, maybe a little bit less. I had some discounts set up. So 28. So this is over 400. This is a $400 sale basically. And these all hopefully go out today. Packing them is actually going to be a little bit. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 boxes. I'm not boxing all of these up into one box. It is too heavy for your kind of the standard boxes I got. So I'm not going to go crazy, and I'm going to go 2 or 3 boxes to make sure that they don't crash out. Again, and I put a link down below on my hymnal selling guide. It's not like super awesome, but it's pretty good basics on how to resell hymnals, what to look for. I've actually been on a run selling, and I've got a box of old Methodist hymnals, and I've actually sold a couple, 3 over the past month when they haven't moved at all for like a year. I knew these were going to sell eventually, and they did, and it took a couple, like about 3 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, for these to move out. But glad to see these going to a good place. Again, that's one of the. This is one of my bread and butter hymnals. These are pretty typical in your non-denominational churches. I think our church start. I go to a pretty conservative Presbyterian church. This is what we started with before we moved to the Trinity hymnal. Baptist hymnals. I don't think I've ever failed to sell one. Uh, so this is what you grab. This is one of this is one of the three that are pretty common that I always get. So that's what I went for. Handful of finds. Nothing hugely exciting, but some fun stuff. Start here with some Hot Wheels these are maybe 10. This one I'm not entirely sure about. I've got both of these are like $10, $12 cars maybe. This one is a Chevy Trailblazer. No, this is a Ford Escape. And if this was in like perfect condition, this would be like a $30 car. And why in the world is a Ford Escape? Is a Maisto Ford Escape? And I actually sold a Chevy Trailblazer, a Maisto Chevy Trailblazer for 15. I've got this one up for like 15, 20 bucks. Maisto, there's a handful of cars that only Maisto made, and it was only like I sold a Jeep Liberty that Maisto made a couple of years ago. It's like, why is this? This is a dumb car. Because it's like the only one made. There's this year Ford Escape was made like one time, particularly in this color. This is like the rarest color it was made in. It was made only one time by Maisto, and they got kid bought and they got played with a bunch. But those there's a hand. Always look up your Maisto cars because you may have one worth a little bit because they were the only manufacturers of like some like real common like regular everyday cars that Hot Wheels or Matchbox didn't make, and so Maisto's a good way to. So I always looked up my Maisto cars, particularly the ones that look like that. So let's see what else we got. Kissology DVD set. This is $15, $20 set. And this was a fun find at the last chance, so it didn't cost me a whole bunch, and this actually may be a $20, $30 sale. This is a Waterford Shamrock ornament. Just in time for St. Patty's Day, I guess. So it was like, hey, that's Waterford. Waterford ornaments can do okay. I've actually sold a couple here and there before. I mean, I got it a month too late, but I'll hang on to that and stash it away and let it ride. It'll probably sell between 10 15 bucks if at the lowest. So it was a neat find, particularly for what I paid for it. Anything else to get super excited about? Nothing else to get super excited about that I can see. Books. All right, nothing here to get crazy about. Other than that, thanks for jumping in. For all of you who didn't watch this live stream, but you may watch it later, for the dozens of you that did so, like, comment, subscribe. If you've got a question, don't feel go ahead and ask. It doesn't matter how dumb the question is. There are such things as stupid questions, but it's engagement. Engagement doesn't pay any of my bills. I don't have that big of an audience. But thank you for viewing if you did. Y'all have a good one, and let's get some stuff going out. Bye.